What's up, YouTube? So it's about 29-30 degrees out here in central New York right now, and it's time. You know, I purchased a diesel heater a while back, and we're installing it. So I've never done this before, neither is the gentleman who's helping me. The instructions were absolutely horrible. We're just going through and winging this, and we were taking you along the way. So check this out. Clean this out to get this diesel heater put in. So I'm making a mess. I just disconnected the drain and didn't even think twice about how this thing would still have water in it. Set it right down, it poured all over the floor. So I just wiped that all up. Now I'm setting it down on an actual towel to catch the water. Drained it out, obviously, too, to make sure there's no water in there. Now I'm just getting both of my water containers out of here. I guess I should label these so I know which one is my fresh water and which one's my gray water. Huh. All right, so today's the day. We're installing the Chinese diesel heater. So I bought this one off Amazon. I just looked for good feedback and reviews on it. It was only like $150, $200, just like they all are. Again, I hear it's hit or miss, so we'll see how it all works out for me. So I've got all the pieces and parts, the muffler. I've done all my research and watched plenty of videos on the how-tos and the how-to-nots, what to use, what not to use. So we'll see. All right, so right now we're at the shop. We are just tearing everything out, getting everything ready. Right now we are getting out this dresser, sink, kitchen area. That's where we are going to attach the diesel tank, and the diesel heater is actually going right underneath. So like right down under there. We will keep you updated as we go. If you guys get too cold, I can shut that door. So, that's what I was thinking. Got it? Yeah.
So now I can take this out now. Now it's got an outdoor kitchen.
Where around here, zip tie. So, alright, so this looks like our spot. We traced it all out and got it all ready to drill through. Now we're going to go and check underneath to make sure we're still good there. Nothing's in the way.
I think what we should do, in there. Alright. So we're 5 foot.
Not close to over here. Alright, so right there is where we're going. Now we're tracing up the new hole in here. We just did a pilot hole and now we're drilling through.
Alright. This is the spot.
Let's do it. I see light. Oh shit. Yeah, now you're taking. So what you might want to do is you want to file that up a little bit. And then paint it. And then put some spray paint on it. Yep. Right now I'm cutting out the vinyl so we can get down to the wood. Now I'm tucking in the insulation in here. So what we'll do is do a dry fit. All right, now I'm spray painting or painting some of the bare metal to get some of the exposed metal out of there, keep it from the elements. Wonder why no bare metal. Clamps, zip tie for the fuel line, far away from the exhaust. Air intake right here. Now we're getting ready to set it. Alright, right now we're taking this high temp sealant and we're going to go around the outside of it and make sure we seal this up properly before we put the mount in and the plate in and get everything set. Alright, so as far as the outside goes, you're seeing the muffler here, and I've got the muffler with a little L-shaped bracket directly connected to the vehicle. Then the exhaust with a bracket here. Exhaust is running right up to my heater. Then I have the fuel line and the intake with the filter going up towards the front of the van. And they are just bracketed up there and zip tied up because they do not have the heat, so you don't have to worry about the heat and the zip ties. Alright, so I went to the dollar store and I picked up 3 of these for $1.25. I folded it a little bit just so I could get it into this little area. And now this is going in right underneath my fuel tank for my little drip pan. Going right to the back of it, right where I have that spot drilled in for my fuel line to come out and into my heater. So that's what I'm doing now. Perfect. All right, now you can see it's right back there, and it goes all the way to the back. So that will work perfect for what it's intended for. Next is onto my ducting. This is going to come off of my heater portion, bracketed onto there. Then I have this that comes out. This will attach onto that. That's where the heat will come out. So that's what I'm doing now. All right, I'm just hoping I can get this in here. There's not much room. All right, so at this stage, we are running the ducting. We just cut a hole back here through, and the ducting is coming out right in here. I'm gonna hook it up so it'll be blowing out right towards this way. All right, so we got the diesel heater installed. I just want to show you. Right down here near all my shoes is going to be my ducting, and this is blowing out towards the main area, the main sitting area, or where our feet would be and the kitchen area is. And then this is on my kitchen. So the bottom drawer, if I pull that out, right in there. Right in there is my diesel heater. That is an 8 kilowatt Happy Buy or something like that. I shared the picture with you, and right there shows a little bit better angle of my ducting underneath, and behind that is going to be the wiring. We have one wire for ground, one wire which is a positive with an inline fuse, that's a red one. That's going directly to my lithium battery right now. I might switch it out and go to my power block, obviously, and run it better, but right now I'm just going direct. And then I have my other coated wire there, the black one that's coming up to my controller, right up there. Then down here is where my diesel tank is. Okay, so priming my diesel heater. What I had to do, I already primed it, so I just want to show you guys how I did it, is I had to hold the up and down button until it went into prime mode. It'll start clicking. You'll see it's in prime mode. You hold it all the way until you're done. So continue holding that prime button until about 3 seconds before you're ready for it to stop, because it does have a little delay. Hold the prime, again, up and down arrow. Watch the fuel lines as the diesel goes through the fuel lines. I waited until it went right outside of my van, knowing that I only have a few inches before it comes back inside of the van into my heater chamber. So at that point is when I stopped, because I do not want to get the diesel in the heater portion. That's what causes the white smoke. So worst case scenario at that point is I have to reprime it and just reset it by undoing the plug on my main heater portion. So that's how I primed it. It went right through on a second time. That's why I'm coming on and talking to you about it now, so you know exactly how to do it without any issues. When installing this diesel heater, there were a few different issues I had that we just couldn't find pictures for, or diagrams, or, well, I did after a while, and I will share this in the video right now, which is what really helped me. There are a lot of conflicting videos that just don't show the proper walkthrough and how they had it set up. So basically what happened was, when we set it all up, we set up the pump backwards, the filter backwards, you know, so the pump was pumping the opposite way, the filter was on the opposite side. We literally did the whole install one night, went through the next day, double checked everything and did my research that night after installing it all. So thankfully we didn't hurt, break, or damage anything. But I wanted to make sure I passed on the info so nobody else had to deal with the same thing. Just taking it all apart and reinstalling it. So this was neat. This is just what I cut out when we did the diesel heater. And it's the different layers from everything. From my vinyl floor here to my 5/8 tongue and groove marine grade style plywood. And then right here is the actual soundproof deadener matting, the mat. And then this is the bottom of the van. This was crazy hard to get through. That rubber seal with that metal exterior base. I couldn't believe how thick that was. It works. And that right there is what we ended up having to drill through. Alright, so this is just showing you underneath my sink, behind my water, and where I place my fuel pump, and down under here is my fuel filter. So this is my big tip for you with the diesel heater install. When looking at the diagrams, it didn't point out the little plug on the diesel pump needs to be facing up towards the diesel heater. So that was my big issue, was this right here was flipped around backwards, and it was actually pumping air that way towards my tank. So when we finally figured out why it was pumping air backwards, and we just had to flip it around, plug it in going that way, it made all the sense in the world. Again, it wasn't hard, it wasn't difficult, but why do the same thing that I screwed up on? So I'm trying to save you guys time. So just to run you through, we have right here. Oh, and right here's another tip. I was having a little bit of drips come through the top of my little top. So what I did was I put a piece of Gorilla Tape there. Every time I use it, I take that Gorilla Tape off. I actually put a little tab on there, so it's an easy pull tab. But that way I don't get the diesel smell in here. It needs to vent only when I'm using it, so I pull it off while I'm using it. So right behind here is going to be my tank. Then my fuel line runs underneath. I've got my fuel filter down here that's actually inside of that drip pan. And then that goes right over into here, which this is going to be my fuel filter. Then we're running up into my heater, which is directly underneath and in here. All right, so now we're going to turn this baby on and see it work. So all I'm going to do is press the power button, press and hold. H3, now it's on. At first, all I'm feeling is cold air coming out of here at this point. We're just waiting for everything to heat up. And then the first signs that it's starting to heat up and everything's working is that we'll hear the click. Oh, there it goes. Now the fuel pump's working. Now it's pushing that diesel into the heater. And as it runs into the heater and gets warmed up into the chamber, it'll come right out through, right into there. And that is coming right out into my main area to keep it all nice and warm right in the main area and the main hangout spot, I guess. Now we can hear it clicking a little faster and harder. Right now is when it's heating all up for us. When it gets to a good temp and it gets all warmed up, it will slow down a little bit with the clicking. And with where I located it underneath and behind the sink, as I tuck all my water back in and close up my cabinets, I barely hear the ticking. It's only been on for maybe a minute or two. It's definitely starting to warm up down there. I'd say it takes about 5 minutes to get warm. As far as the temperature coming out of the vent. It takes 10 to 20 minutes depending on how cold it is outside and how cold it is when I start in here, but it takes 10 to 20 minutes to warm right up in here. And that right there is my setup. It's working great. It's getting warm, and I am ready for winter in New York.